Hey guys, welcome back, or I should really just say welcome in general because it has been a minute since I've been on here. I pulled up my YouTube to actually look when the last time I did a video was, and it was 4 months ago. It was for my first peak week, and I'm not gonna lie, I did record like the other two peak weeks. I recorded like a whole post show chat and a mental recap and a like plans, and I didn't edit any of it. I just wasn't interested in re-listening to myself. That's the one thing I hate about editing my own YouTube videos. But I still have all that footage, and it will probably never end up being put on my channel because once it reaches like a certain point, I just don't want to go all the way back and go through and edit it. But I do still have the video, so who knows? Maybe one day I'll put it up. But yes, I've been wanting to jump back on, do a big recap of what's been going on, what my plans are, just how I'm feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the things. And I just, I'll get the urge to do it, and then I'll decide that I don't feel like it, or Adam will be home, and I really just don't like recording around people. I'm trying to get more confident about that, but I get really insecure and really self-conscious. So I want to do it when the house is empty and when I feel good. I don't know, for any of you guys that do videos and record and everything, I think you get what I mean whenever you have to be in a certain mindset to really feel like doing it. Now for people who are full-time content creators, I'm sure there are times where you just record whenever you don't feel like it. But since this is not a full-time anything for me, it's literally just a side hobby that I'm trying to get myself to get into more and get better at editing and recording and just putting out some good information for you guys, some good workouts, some good meal preps, some good mental health advice, that kind of stuff. I'm not overly concerned with doing it every single day kind of thing, but I would like to get a little bit more consistent moving forward, especially since this is going to be a longer off season for me. I really want to make this a weekly thing, whether it's not going to be a big long YouTube video every week. This is probably going to be one of the longer ones. So if you're not interested in hearing a long spiel about what's been up and going on, this probably isn't the video for you. But otherwise, my goal is to just do some videos where one is just a workout and one is just a full day of eating, and one is maybe just me talking while I'm meal prepping and showing you guys some of the stuff that I do. And then maybe some week in the life or day in the life or something like that. But just more shorter ones so I can actually get more consistent with it. And I do want to work on my editing skills, but I will say this one is not going to be any kind of fancy edit. This is going to be I'm going to download this video right after I do this and slap it online. Although I did create a really cool, fun intro that will be on all of my videos if I can figure out how to get it on the next ones that I made on CapCut, and it's really cool. So there's that. I'm also using a mic, which it does show on my thing that it's picking up my talking. But the one time I used this, it somehow didn't work and didn't correlate when I downloaded it on the video thing, and I don't know. I am so technologically challenged, guys. You don't realize how much of a stretch this is, making myself do these, but I'm trying. I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone, which I've been doing a lot of lately, and I cannot wait to get into. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already heard some of these really different updates on what's going on and different opportunities that I have coming up that I'm just so excited about. But we'll get into that here in a bit. So if you're new here, I do have where it all started video, literally the first video on my channel, all the way at the beginning. You can take a look at that if you're interested in deep diving into how I got here today where I'm at. But little recap, I moved here whenever I got married to Adam. Before that, I lived in the Midwest in Missouri, from Lake of the Ozarks right before this, and before that in a small town of 500 people in the middle of nowhere. I grew up on a farm all 18 years of my life. I went to school for vocal music, changed my major the first semester because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this degree and I shouldn't spend this kind of money on this. Went to nursing school, got my nursing degree, worked as a nurse for 7.5 years with a lot of experience in that, which is where the science background comes from that I get to utilize now in coaching. But after that, I switched over to full-time coaching with a team that I was on before, Team Elite Physique. And then of course I switched over when I met Adam. And here I am today, still coaching, still competing. I have been competing for almost 7.5 years. It is insane to say that. I cannot believe how long I have been competing. So I did actually take some notes just so I don't leave stuff out and I can kind of organize my thoughts a little bit. But yeah, so crazy. I've been competing for 7.5 years. I've done, I think it's like 30, I lost track. I could add it back up, but like 33 shows or something like that. It's wild. It's a lot of shows, a lot of experience, like 14 amateur shows, like 7 regional, 7 national, where I finally got my pro card it's so crazy. I got my pro card with a 3rd-degree high ankle sprain. My leg was black and blue and I taped it up, slapped a compression sleeve on my leg that I dyed in protein the night before. And yeah, I went out and I got my pro card in H class as a 5'10" girl in a class of it was like 35 girls or something like that. It was a big class. So that was just such an insane story. And honestly, a lot of what I'm going to talk today about, like when it comes to the mental side of things that I've been kind of processing, I want to get back to the girl that was that girl. I came in second at the national show before that, was like 2 points away from getting my pro card there. And I was so determined and I believed in myself more than I think I ever have. And I don't think anyone could have told me different. Like Lake was like a small amount of people when it was like an off season and really just a lot of tourists. But the group of people I had around me was just so motivating in the aspect of like they just believed in me so much, but they weren't in this world as much, so they didn't know all the details and the ins and the outs of what like people like what the judges want or don't. But that kind of belief was like, oh gosh, it was just so motivating. And I felt like on top of the world. Like I felt like I could do anything. And even though I couldn't walk, like the week before the show, I was like, no, I'm going. Like I had already had everything paid for, the hotel, the trip, the show. Like I bought everything. And I'm like, at the very least, I'm going to cram my foot in that heel and just try to hobble out there and do this. And I did. And I remember, oh gosh, the day like it was yesterday. Sandy moved me in, and then there was 9 of us in the call out, and I think she thought I was in the center, and then immediately switched me with the next girl, and I stayed in the center she turned us and walked us guys like 8 times. My foot was screaming. I got off stage and I could have fallen over. Oh my gosh, I could like cry thinking about it. And it's been a long time since I've like told that story, but it makes me it makes me really proud. And I just want to continue, as I have been the last couple of months, working on getting back to that girl. Like she believed she could do anything. And I'm just, yeah, that's where I'm heading mentally. After these last couple of months, I've done a lot of work and I still am, but I'm starting to get back to that girl. I'm starting to get back to that belief. So that's fun. Oh, trip down memory lane. Experienced so much. It is crazy when it comes to places I've traveled and shows I've been to. The things that bodybuilding has done for me is just wild to think about. This goes back to like, so let me just jump to like this season. This season was really rough. I don't know why. This prep, mentally, I was more in my head than I've ever been. I struggled to stay like 100% on track with my food and stuff. I still came in fine. I came in lean enough. Like, I know my body well enough, like the things I can and can't get away with when it comes to like calories, but I just had so much doubt. I kept trying to tell myself differently, but it was really hard. I've never felt like that insecure, and just not enough. It's gotten a little worse as the years have gone by, but this year I think I just hit my all-time low. It was just not, it was not fun mentally. And I don't really know why. I guess just maybe the pressure of wanting to do well and just focusing so much on like the win and the placing and the outward opinions of others. Man, stay offline, guys. Stay off Reddit. Stay off online anything. Like, do not listen to the opinions of other people. Like, the phrase I like to remember is, the opinions of others are none of your business, because they're not. Who cares what someone else thinks or says about you? They don't know what goes on behind closed doors. They don't know what you've been through, what you're going through, what you struggle with, your background. Like, people don't know. And I don't know about other people. So when I catch myself ever having like moments of like kind of judging, because we all do, let's be honest, like, I'll be honest and say that even as a very strong Christian person, I try to be a really good Christian person, but yeah, I have moments that I judge, and I don't like take a second to think about what somebody else might be going through or have been through. And yeah, you just don't know. So everybody's prep and journey in this sport is different, and most of the time it becomes like, it's so much more than just a stage. It really is. But so this year, the prep in general was hard. And then like the 3 shows I had, they were back to back to back, and it was so wild. I'll keep this part short because it's a little bit more personal, but when I start cycles, it's like the week before that I feel kind of like the bloating and the water retention and all that. So that happened a couple days before the first show. And then I started my cycle, and it was probably one of the worst ones I've ever had in my life. And it lasted like 12 days. So it went through the second show and was still almost going by the third show, my last show of the season. I literally have never experienced one that severe. And I think based on different like labs and based on that and some other symptoms along with it, I don't know, but I feel like I could have possibly been pregnant maybe and had some issues and then like lost it. I don't know this. It's all speculation. I worked postpartum for 3.5 years. I saw a lot of this kind of stuff, and it's not impossible to happen, even though we are lower body fat, even though hormones may not be like optimal for something like that to happen. I don't know. So it could have been that, or it could have been just, I don't know, maybe a cyst, maybe something. I have no idea, but my body just looked off, and I felt off mentally. I felt like I was losing it, and physically I was in a lot of pain like that. I just did not feel good. And then about, I think it took like 7 weeks. I was almost late on the next one, and then finally got my cycle back, and it was a normal one, and it was okay. But the weight fluctuations I had post-show and stuff were kind of indicative of that too. So that was just wild. It was a really weird month. Literally the whole course of the 3 shows and the 1 or 2 weeks after, I did not feel like myself. And then after that, boom, like light switch and I was fine. So maybe it was in my head, maybe like, you know, kind of how our minds can create things that happen to your bodies. But anywho, I'll keep that short because it's kind of just something that I'm just guessing that could have happened. But if it wasn't that, there was something going on hormonally, weird fluctuations. But I definitely, you know, I still could have kept going. I mean, my placings were getting better throughout the shows. They weren't great. It's the first year that I hadn't got at least one top 5, which was a bummer. But like looking back and after like the season, after I decided to end my season, like I definitely didn't have the caliber of muscle that they were picking this year. It was pretty insane, which also I was supposed to take a longer off season and I ended up only taking like 4 months. And then I went back into prep, which was kind of dumb on my part, but I was just like, I was so ready and I felt like this stress of this like timeline that I had to get on stage and I had to try to qualify for the Olympia and I had to do it in this time because I'm getting older and I'm only 31. I know that's probably old to some people, especially like younger girls watching this, but 31 is so young. So young. I have so much time for this. It is insane. But yeah, for some reason, I just had so much pressure that I put on myself, which was so silly. It was so silly. So yeah, I decided for the first time ever, I kid you not, I wrote this down to make sure I remembered to say this. First time in 7.5 years that I'm taking a full year off season. The longest off season I've taken 2 different 8-month off seasons. But apart from that, like I've only ever taken, like I've taken a year from stage time to stage time, but I haven't taken like a full year of growth. Now I know that my hormones are like, they have struggled for the last couple of years. I don't have high testosterone levels. I don't want to take anything because, you know, I might want kids one day and I just don't want to affect a lot of that stuff. So I know it's going to be harder to grow whenever those levels aren't in great ranges, but they are improving. I found some different natural, like kind of herbal supplements, stuff like that. And I think it's actually helping. So that's nice. And mentally, I feel better too, because whenever you have no testosterone in your body, you feel bad mentally and physically and just in every way. So, you know, the short off seasons are going to affect your hormone levels, getting into a rhythm and getting into balance. Because if you're having just shorter off seasons and you're staying very lean year round, like your body's not going to have that time to really kind of reset itself. Now, some people's hormones stay great the whole time, all the way through, but everybody is different and I'm not one of those people. So, this is the first time I'm taking a full year off. So my last show was June 14th. So I will not start a prep until June 14th. Like I literally am not kidding. Like to the day, I will not start prep before that. I have made a commitment to myself to not let myself get eager. And I know it's going to be hard when next year starts. And I'm like, oh, I think I've put on some good size. You know, yeah, I think I look better. Yeah, I think I could just jump back in and do a quick prep and blah, 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 whatever. I'm not letting myself do that. So that'll be the earliest that I prep. And now, since they're doing the point system, it really would make absolutely 0 sense for me to start prep in June and even attempt to do shows before the 2026 qualification ends. Which, back to that whole like fact of staying offline, you know, I had some people online bashing me about like, I don't know why she's so obsessed with getting to the Olympia. Like, that's so dumb. Like, she's not good enough. She's never going to make it, blah, 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 whatever. But I mean, come on, guys. Anyone who competes in this sport, unless you're at the amateur level and you're literally like, oh, I just want to do this for a bucket list, one and done, boom. And even girls that say that, a lot of clients that I've had say that, they end up addicted. They're addicted after the first show and they want to do more. They want to go for that pro card, and then you want to compete in pro shows. And so most of the time, anyone that does a sport, their goal is the Olympia from the day that they start until the day that they finish. Whether they get there or not, it doesn't matter. But I'm here to say, if you're going to compete in this sport, no one comes in saying, oh, I just want to be mediocre. I just want to be okay on stage. I want to show up half my best. I want to show up and get last place. Like, no one says that. Almost everyone's goal in this world of competing is to get to the Olympia in every division. And especially once you hit that pro level and you're an active pro who competes each year, that's going to be your goal. So anyways, sorry for the side rant. But so because of the point system now, which I don't know if they'll keep the same thing in 2027. I have no idea. It could totally change. So I'm not even going to think about it that much until after the qualification resets, because if I start prep in June, I mean, I don't know, at the very earliest, let's say I was ready in like 10 weeks, but with a longer off season, I'm probably going to be up a little bit more. Like right now, I'm up like anywhere from like 10 to 13 pounds on any given day or week. I'm eating pretty good. I'm being pretty flexible. I'm training really hard. I'm training really heavy. But yeah, even let's say June 14th is when I started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's say an 8-week prep even. I mean, that puts me into like August 10th, which is only like a month before the 2026 qualification resets. And I do not have the audacity to think that I can come out and bang out 2 wins before the qualification resets. Like, LOL. Not that I don't like believe in myself and believe I can come back and do better than this year, but it's pretty unrealistic. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to start competing until that qualification system resets. And then, I think competing like end of September through like the beginning of like December or end of November, taking a couple months break and then coming back in, because if it is the point system that goes in 2027 too, like you're going to have to compete quite a few times. Like you're probably going to have to be on stage quite a lot, which the good thing is it's good and bad. I can stay pretty lean. I can stay pretty locked in. Like once I start prep, it's easy for me to stay in it. Honestly, the transition from prep to off season and off season to prep are the hardest parts for me. Like those 4 weeks of both of those sections are like the hardest for me. But once I'm locked into one or the other, like I'm okay. And mentally I'm pretty sound. So staying lean is not a huge problem for me, especially not with how hard I train and how hard I push on like cardio, workouts, everything. But maintaining muscle for that long is where I'm going to run into some problems, because a lot of times I will start losing muscle the longer I go. So it's just going to have to be like a smart balance of picking shows and probably not doing too many back to back to back or anything like that, because I'm going to have to like be strategic about like keeping my muscle that long. Because again, I mean, I'm not saying like I don't believe in myself, but the realistic, best case scenario, if I come back and I have way more muscle, it is still really hard for the taller girls to win shows. Like even if I come back, let's say 3-4 pounds heavier of muscle, and I do look fuller and more hourglass shape and everything, a 5'10" girl compared to like a 5'5" girl, your hourglass is not as hourglassy. It's not. We're longer. Like we just have a harder time. But nonetheless, I still need way more muscle. So who knows? I could come back and still not have the muscle that I need to be competitive. But I will say it's not from a lack of trying, because I work out very hard, but genetically, I don't think I come from a family that builds muscle super easy. But yeah, so that's, I didn't really preface that, but that's kind of my competing plans. Like I have no plans to compete before the 2027 qualification starts. So at the very earliest next year, like the end of September. So yeah, that is kind of competing plans. As far as post show, so after my I don't know, it was just so much weird mental stuff. I decided I just really needed to pull back and kind of work through some things that I've just been putting on the back burner for a couple of years. I've been using competing to help with distracting myself, I think, a lot. And it's worked, but it's there's just been some stuff that I've needed to work on, underlying, that's been there the whole time. And yeah, I'm, searching out the right places to work through that. So, just getting into some good lifting, some good nutrition, some good hormonal balance for a really long, consistent period, that full year off. I cannot wait to see how I come back physically from that. But more importantly, I am just taking a lot of time to work on my mental health, kind of work on my food relationship. I just felt like different things. I used to struggle with eating disorders, and I felt some of that disordered eating kind of past coming up. My body dysmorphia, I've had since I was in third grade, I kid you not. And I've just felt it also getting a lot worse, and honestly had nothing to do with competing. Just had to do with so much of just my mental health, and putting, like I said, just this pressure on myself that just that I wasn't good enough. And I feel that way in every realm of life. I'm not a good enough daughter or wife or friend or sister or coach or anything. And I think we all go through times of that. I think some people struggle with it a little bit more than others, but I do think it's something that we all experience too in different times of our life. And whatever happened in these shows, it was a really hard mental reset for me, that I needed to refocus my life on a whole lot of things that I wasn't focusing on in the past couple of years. But, most importantly, while I have been very strong in my faith in the last couple of years, really my whole life, but every few years I hit this, on Mario Kart, when you hit that speed boost, every few years, something happens where I kind of have that moment, that light switch, and I just accelerate my spiritual growth. And the show season and whatever happened, the way it went, and after it was over, it was one of those things. It just really clicked for me, and I just wanted to truly deep dive and work on getting closer with my relationship with God. I feel like I kept searching for different worldly things to feel like I was enough, whether it was in my relationships and friendships and my placings on stage, or how I did it as a coach, or how just whatever it was. I was trying to place my worth in feeling enough by other people and other things. All the while I should have been placing it in God. I'm not quiet about my faith. I share that very openly on Instagram a lot, and I will share that with anyone and everyone who asks about it. I wholeheartedly believe that is where my driving force in life comes from, and my hope and my assurance and confidence. And I had just lost focus of that a little bit, and that has been one of my main goals in these last couple of months, is to really just shift my focus back to the Lord and honoring Him, and honestly just feeling more grateful to compete again. I think at times we get so focused on the win, so obsessed with the placings and what people think about us and what people say about us, and how we look aesthetically, and we let that kind of determine our worth, and our light that we should be shining fades because we're too inward focused. So that's been one of my things. I just want to, I said this on Instagram one day, I'm Don't get me wrong, I want people to see the physical growth. And more importantly, I want to see the physical growth from the last time I stepped on stage to when I step on stage next year. But what I want people to see the most and what I want to see in myself is my spiritual growth. I want to come out and to just be so grateful to be on that stage and really see the blessings that we have as competitors. Like when you guys take a step back and you think about how obsessed we get with the placing and how much priority we put on winning and how we look and everything. And then, we get so disappointed and frustrated when we don't do well. And I've been there. I've gotten off stage and just been so disappointed. Like I just want to go back in the room and just, cry, or maybe not cry, but, just be really upset and be really down. And then when you think about there are people out there that like can't walk, can't afford healthy food, don't have good water to drink. Like there are people in the world who would kill to just have a normal life. And we're really privileged to be able to do this sport. If you are competing on stage, maybe you can't necessarily afford it, but you're finding a way to make it work. But nonetheless, if you're doing it, you found the means to make it work. But if we're competing on stage, we are privileged enough to have the time, the health, the financial means, just the opportunity. We live somewhere where there's a bodybuilding show every weekend somewhere in the US. There is, healthy food at our fingertips. There's running water at your home. There's so much that we should be grateful for and thankful for. And I think, like, I know myself, I lost sight of some of the things that I should be so thankful for and grateful for the ability to compete. And I just really have taken the last couple of months to focus on that too. Any day I was tired or didn't feel like working out or anything, there's a few things that I would think about and just be like, man, you are so blessed. You're so blessed to be able to do this. Like, go work out, go move your body that you are able to use and be healthy enough to do that. Like, some people would kill for that. And I think, even just looking back on my years of nursing, like, there were some patients that I took care of, like a couple, one or two specifically, like that were quadriplegics or, had double amputations, like bilateral knee amputations, and couldn't walk. And I'm like, wow, like here you are, like sad and upset that you didn't win, you didn't get your tiara, you didn't get your medal. And there are people that would just kill to, walk around in their house. So I know that sounds really extreme. Don't get me wrong. I understand that some of the stuff I'm saying sounds very extreme, but it is one of those things that I have just had to step back and look at in the last couple of months and just put my mind back into perspective and try to bring myself back to where when I started competing, I was so excited. I was just grateful for the experience, and I couldn't believe, honestly, after my first growth season and coming back down and cutting down and looking at my body, I was like, I cannot believe I look like this. This is insane. And now in the off season, we gain a little body fat and we're like, wow, we look like crap, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. That is not the attitude to have. That is not how your body is going to grow and respond well. Oh, sorry. I have not talked this much in a long time. I don't really talk, and I'm not around people a lot. My voice is actually getting tired. But yeah, so I just have really been working on my mental health and just my mindset of how I want to come back to stage next year. And this is the most consistent that I've been with being more positive and happy and like working through some underlying like depression and stuff that I have from different things, and getting help with that. And I just feel so good with that. Training wise, I spent the first 4 months just really pushing hard and heavy. I hit a lot of PRs. I went wild in the gym. I have started incorporating deloads, which I've never done in the last 7 years of bodybuilding because I was too afraid of taking time off and losing gains. And I'm so glad I've been incorporating those because I think that they're helping so much. So that has been great. I've been, honestly this year, I've went and seen my sister and my new baby niece and my family a lot. I have traveled a lot this year, kind of in place of shows. I went and seen family and friends. Savannah and I have had a few fun weekends together, and that has been wonderful. I took a full week and went home and helped take care of my mom after she had knee replacement about a month ago, which she's doing amazing and recovering really well. So very thankful for that. I'll be going home for Christmas. I just started my new plan that I'll probably be on for like 16 weeks now through the end of the year of workouts that I started. I'm going to be focusing on more like moderate, still heavy, but moderate weight, and adding in some holds, adding in just some different like tempo stuff, like slowing things down, really focusing on that mind-muscle connection. Because I think I went a little, I do this every time I do a longer off season. I go ham on the PRs and then my joints hurt, my body hurts. But it was fun. I hit some really high weights that I have never hit, especially on hip thrust and everything. So that was exciting. And that's always fun to just focus on something, besides aesthetics. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have a lot going on the rest of the year. Just focusing on growing, focusing on continuing to work on this mindset, continuing to work on my spiritual growth, and just getting closer with the Lord, and, making that my main focus. A few random things that I did share on Instagram that happened. I finally auditioned for the worship team at Central. Central here in Las Vegas is a huge church. There's multiple locations. I had wanted to audition for the worship team literally since I started that church, but I was just so nervous that I wouldn't be good enough and that they would be like, no, you don't sound good. We can't get you, or we can't have you on stage, which is so silly. I know I'm at least average. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have made it into college for that. But, back to that whole not feeling enough for whatever reason that I've let my brain slip into that in every aspect of my life. But I was like, you know what? Do it afraid. One of the Joyce Meyer, her talks that I listened to, she's like, do it afraid. With God, like, he'll have your back, and what's meant to be will be, and what's not is not meant for you. So just do it afraid. So I auditioned and I got that back. So I shadow for the first time this Saturday coming up. I'm so excited. And I don't know when they'll have me actually there for a weekend, but I'm so excited. I'm still volunteering with the kids too. I'll do that every weekend that I'm not on the actual worship stage. So, I was on the worship team back at the lake, and I just really, really missed it. So I'm so excited for that opportunity, and I feel so blessed and just grateful that that worked out how it did. And then I also auditioned to start teaching at the place that I do the cardio classes, Redemption Fitness. I was so funny. A year ago, if you would have asked me to go to a group class, I would have said absolutely not. Alexa, my friend, we started out together on a different team. That's how we met, 5 years ago or something. But she teaches there, and she kept trying to get me to come, and I didn't want to. I don't like group classes. And then I finally went this year, and fell in love with it. It's so much fun. It's a lot more motivating to do your cardio that way. So I've even been telling some of my girls that they can incorporate that for some of their cardio. But I was like, it would be so fun to have an outlet to where I could just let loose and be kind of more outgoing. And just have a lot of fun and still be fitness, but not necessarily with competing. So I got the job with that. So I actually co-teach my first class on Wednesday, and after that, I think they're gonna let me off on my own. So I'll probably be teaching a couple classes a week there. So that is fun and new. Um, what else? I think that's pretty much it. The Olympia just happened. That was wild. I'm not really going to get into that a whole lot because in a nutshell, I don't think it really matters who they pick as the winners. I don't think it's going to change that much of how they judge throughout the year. They want a lot of muscle and they want you really conditioned. And I think that this year was kind of just a one-off. But Maureen looked absolutely beautiful. And if this is kind of their message of like resetting the amount of muscle of bikini, do I think they'll go down that much? No. But am I happy about it if they're like dialing it back a little? Absolutely. For those of us that are not genetically inclined to build a lot of muscle, even though we're working our booties off in the gym, it's great. It's great for me. But again, I don't really put a lot of stock in necessarily who the Olympia winners are, because I do think that I don't think it makes that much difference on how the judges judge throughout the year. But we'll see. The thing is, I'm not even going to concern myself about it until they come out with whatever the 2027 qualification rules are, because I won't be competing in the 2026 qualification time. So, but yeah, the Olympia was this weekend. I got to see Savannah again. That was fun. I got kind of a little corny thing. I don't know how I feel about this. It took me a while to commit to buying it. But I did get a little O, and then I put my own cross charm on it because I had a cross necklace on before, and that's my main priority. But I got a little O necklace. So at first I was like, not that I believe in the woo-woo stuff. No offense to anybody, but I was like, oh, is this gonna kind of jinx me, or is this dumb to have this? And then that negative self-talk of who are you kidding? There's no chance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. Let's just get that out of our head. Let's get this and let's wear it and be inspired by it. Be motivated by it. I was thinking about this as I was driving in the car the other day. I was like, it was an interview that Jen Dory was doing with Lolo, one of the girls that I know, and she was talking about make sure that you really take it in. This is your first Olympia. It's your Olympia debut. You won't get that time back. So really just be present and enjoy it. And it got me thinking, what if we treated every single show like that? What if I wear this little O and I use this as inspiration? I mean, that is my ultimate goal still, to make it to the Olympia stage. Whether it happens, whether it can happen, I don't know. But I do know that what is the point in going about your day-to-day life without having goals, without having dreams? Goals and dreams give us hope. They help us stay motivated. They help us be inspired. It helps us push ourselves to new limits and really go after the things that we want. And at the very worst, at the end of the day, if I never make it, who cares? I literally just pushed myself and bettered myself along the way every single day, working towards that goal. There's no negative side effect of that. It's all good. So my goal this coming year, when I do get ready to compete again in 2027 qualifying year, it'll be in 2026, but at the end of the year next year, is to just treat every show like it's my Olympia. And I don't mean that to take away from the importance in the hugeness of the Olympia, because every show is not the same as that. But in my mind, if I treat every single show like it's that special and it's that amazing that I'm even on a pro stage. I got my pro card. It's hard to get your pro card. It is. It is competitive. It was hard whenever I did it. It was hard now. It was hard 10 years ago because it's all relative based on your competition that you have in those years. But just being a pro, like Sandy always says that she's like, you know, those like your amateur girls watching you on the pro stage would give the tip of their pinky finger, I think is what she says, to be a pro and to be where you're at. So I have to remind myself that too. Like it's a big accomplishment to just be on a pro stage. And if I spend every show that I do just worrying about winning or qualifying, like I'm really taking away from the joy of being present in that moment. And I have done that at multiple shows, and I just don't want to do that anymore. I want to get back to just loving competing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to want to do well. I'm still probably going to be a little bummed if I don't do well, but I'm really hoping that the mental mindset work that I'm doing and just the spiritual work that I'm doing with the Lord right now is going to help me come back to stage with just a greater appreciation for the sport, a greater appreciation for just what my body can do, and for having the opportunity to be able to compete. And I mean, heck, to be able to to coach, to be able to have a career in the sport that I love doing myself and be able to help other girls get to their goals too. Yeah, it's just amazing. So that's my goal, is to just treat every show moving forward that I do next year as my own little Olympia. Be so excited on show day. Be pumped leading up to it. Be all in. Take all the pictures. Talk with everyone. Make new friends. Don't get so inward, like turn so inward, focusing on the win and focusing on, you know, if you don't win or if you don't place or if you don't get a first call out or even a second call out, maybe you're dead last, like not making that determine your worth, because I've fallen into that trap a lot, and I don't want to be that girl anymore. I just want to show God's light through getting on stage, using this outlet of fitness that I really believe that He gave me to, you know, just share His love and His joy, and just to, I don't know, hopefully inspire some people along the way, and just make those different connections and relationships. So yeah, that was a lot. The longer I talk, the worse my voice got. Man, I haven't talked that much in a long time, but I hope you guys enjoyed that little recap. If you made it to the end of this, I truly appreciate you watching. I appreciate you following and subscribing along. I can't wait to get back into my YouTube stuff and to start sharing more things. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know if you want to see more workouts or more food or more updates like this, or, you know, maybe mindset work. Just whatever you guys want to see, I would love to know, so I can start, you know, tailoring my videos to that and just what I post. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I hope everyone can take a little bit of this. Maybe if you're struggling through some of the same stuff, or if you need to take a step back and kind of refocus your mind on just, you know, why you started competing in the first place, then I hope this kind of gives you the encouragement to do that, because, you know, we all go through those low times, and we all go through the times where we do need to refocus. And hey, you never know. Sometimes the biggest setbacks are right before the best things that could ever happen in your life. So take that as motivation, encouragement, and yeah, just thanks for following along my journey. Be sure to like and subscribe, and tune in hopefully next week for maybe a workout video or a full day of eating. I don't know. We'll see what I come up with. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. Have a wonderful week or weekend, depending on when I get this edited, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.